Good evening, everyone. Good evening.
Good evening, Katile.
I think we can start as others join because of time. Cindy.
Just thinking, can we allow more participants to just come in? Can you give them some 5 minutes or so, around 4 minutes, so that we start at exactly 5:35?
It's okay.
Well, I want to ask us to write on the chat box, how do you feel? I've been away, but now I'm back for today's discussions. So before I start today's discussions, as they come in, I want you to write in your chat box, how do you feel today? Because tomorrow we are celebrating the World Mental Health Day. So how do you feel today about yourself, self-care, about yourself? So I want to see that reactions in your in the chat box. How do you feel today? Are you gorgeous? How do you feel? Are you depressed? How do you feel? Are you tired? Yes, any feeling. That is what we want to really get from each and every person. How do you feel today? Please let's write that on our chat box. Those joining on Facebook, you too need to tell us, how do you feel today? Just write it in the inbox chat. How do you feel today? How do you feel today? And now that tomorrow is a World Mental Health Day, what is your expectations for tomorrow? What do you expect for our mental health day? And what do you expect for mental health as a whole? It's not necessarily for the mental health day, but what is your expectation for mental health? So I'm waiting to see people writing how they feel today. If you prefer not to say, also just say, I prefer not to say about how I feel today. That's okay. Just write them on the chat box. We have 12 participants. I expect to see 10. I expect to see 9 because Josh Kiani is having he has logged in with 2 devices. So I expect to see nine messages about how do you feel today? How do you feel about your mental health status? How do you feel today? Oh, thank you so much, Katil. I see you are excited. Hi, everyone. Hi, Stacy. How do you feel today? As you come in, just greet us and then tell us, I feel this. So as you come in, just tell us how you feel today. Today is a day that we have an eve for the World Mental Health Day. And how do you feel today? How do you feel today? I see Leonida Kiriago saying I am feeling good. Thank you, Leonida. And feel free to mute yourself to say how you feel today. Feel free to mute yourself and say how you feel today. If you really feel you want to talk, just tell us, today I feel excited. If you want to talk, it's not a must that you must chat on the chat box. For those on Facebook, we are going to look at how you feel today via Facebook. Before we start our sessions, we'll start the sessions at exactly 5:40. Not yet seeing reactions from those on Facebook. For those joining, continue the trend. Let us say how you feel on a chat box, or we can as well mute yourself and talk about how do you feel today. That will be very wonderful to hear people's voices. And this discussion, I'm going to hear people's voices today and also get to learn from you together. So I'm looking at some of the few comments today. Oh, hello, I'm happy. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Melcy. Melcy, thank you. I feel so excited to be in today's sessions. Thank you. Thank you, Josh Kiani. I will call some others by names to just tell us how they feel, all right? Maybe they don't want to chat. Irene Dolo is saying, I'm very okay. By the grace of the Lord, ready to learn. Thank you. Thank you, Irene, for the response. Okay, for those who are joining us, just feel free to tell us in the chat box how you feel today. Or if you want to mute, also you can as well mute and tell us how you feel today. Just tell us how do you feel today. We are here for self-care. Self-care is part of health and a good mind setup. We want to ensure we are still on the right track. How do you feel today? I wish I could do this as an antimeter, but anyway, there's no problem. How do you feel today? I see. People, some are not spoken, some have not spoken. Good people. I see somebody saying it's a chilled evening, but I'm ready with my cup of coffee. Wow. Nisambazie a cup of coffee, please. And eager to learn. Thank you. Juliet Courier, nisambazie your cup of coffee, by the way. Akinyi Nancy, what do you want to say?
No, nothing. How are you?
I'm good, I'm good. How do you feel today?
I'm very fine.
You're very fine.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Nice to hear your voice also.
Thank you.
Oh. Oh, Ezinia Linda. Ezinia
Yes,
Linda, how do you feel today?
I'm just good.
You're good.
Yeah.
You're good.
Yes, I'm good.
Ready for today's session?
Yes.
Okay, that's okay. That's right.
Okay.
Let me hear a voice of a man. That is called gender balanced. Abubakar. Abubakar. Abu. Abu natesa bwana. Okay, sawa. Okay. Yes, yes, I can see. Abu, can you just mute and tell us how do you feel today? I want to hear your voice. Many blue tick. Blue tick. Anyway, but you can also write in your chat box. The only thing I wanted also to hear a male voice because of a female voice have been heard. Without much further ado, I want us to, for those who are coming in, that question will keep on trickling down in the chat box, and Katile take a key note on that. We really want to know how do they feel today? How do you feel today? And then we as we proceed. So so today I want to take you through. Today we are going to learn about something new. Wait. Oh, I see. You are headed home. Man, niko kumata. Wow. Sawa sawa. Safe travels. Johnny Mas is my friend. Johnny Mas is to home. Or you are feeling fine. Oh, nobody's feeling sad.
Hii ni class ingine inakuwa ya guys.
Lydia Wanjiru. Lydia,
Huh?
how are you feeling today?
I'm fine.
You are fine.
Yeah.
Hey, uko na voice nyororo.
Inakuanga hivyo.
Sawa.
Guys,
Oh, welcome.
thank you so much.
You can now mute, please. Now, as we start the discussion today, I want us to remain muted at all costs. So today I want to take you through So today I'll take you through a discussion on HIV and AIDS in relation to PMTCT. So I want to ask a question. What comes to your mind when you hear about the two terms HIV and AIDS? Let me stop sharing so that I can see you. I can see some. I want to ask two, a male and a female, to tell me what comes into your mind. I see some hands somewhere. Irene? Irene, I've asked you to unmute.
Hello?
Yes.
Okay, if I come across such two terms, what comes in my mind is the mode of transmission,
Yeah.
how it's really affect people, and in fact, how it really affect the people who are not infected with it, and the side effects of HIV, how it can be prevented. Yeah.
Hey, thank you so much, Irene. I like the idea that you have. So for those who are joining us, I want you to keep on telling me how do you feel today? Write it on the chat box as you join. Tell us, hello, I am Amina Wakesha. I am feeling excited to join you today, right? And then I asked a question, and I'll ask somebody else. I wanted just to ask two people. I have heard from Irene. Irene has told us when you hear about HIV, the two terminologies, HIV and AIDS, then what comes into our mind are the side effects, the mode of transmission. So I want to ask one male. Let me look at Irene, you have something?
Not really.
Okay, so I thought you wanted to talk because I see you muted. So I want to ask Rahab. Rahab, what comes to your mind when you hear about the two terms? Rahab? Oh, this will be a very interactive session because there's a lot of discussions today that we are going to do for this. Rahab, I'm an blue tick. So let me get to Samuel. Samuel Mwangi? Samuel Mwangi? Oh. The man in the house. Umenyamaza? Yes, Samuel.
HIV and AIDS.
Yes.
When I hear that terminology, the
Yeah.
thing that comes to my mind is that most people have gotten it from sexual intercourse, maybe. So when I hear the term HIV and AIDS, the first thing that comes to my mind is sexual intercourse is the major cause of the disease. Yeah.
Thank you for that response, Samuel. Samuel, when you hear about HIV and AIDS terminologies, then the first thing that comes in your mind is that so many people have been infected. And that is very true, because this is one of the key epidemics that is really derailing our country when we are focusing towards development. Because I really wished I could ask everyone, what do they think about when they hear about the two terms HIV and AIDS? So today's discussion, we are going to have a discussion on HIV and AIDS, but we are not going to look at it into a very broader picture, but we are going to specify into a very key comprehensive package, and that is the prevention of mother-to-child transmission. Allow me to share my screen without much ado. So this is session 12. That is what we are going to discuss. And for those who still don't know me, my name is Joshua. So just know me that way. So I want to go to the next presentation, the next slide. I would like everyone, please, would you mind to just mute. So one thing that HIV, when you hear about the term HIV AIDS, it's an acronym. And that acronym, the first letter means it's H. The first letter is H. So that H refers to as human. And you know, when it's human, then it means it's a human disease. So that is, it means it's a human infected disease. So it infects human beings. Therefore, we don't need to say that HIV is found from baboons and all. But there's a lot of epidemic issues that have really resolved from human HIV. So there is also I that stands for immunodeficiency. And if you look at that, means decrease or weakness in the body's ability to fight infections and illnesses. So this means it's a virus that really tries to deter the body's ability to fight infections. And for those who study medicine, and even for those who are interested in the body health, you'll realize that each and every human being has an immune system. And this immune system really fights for the body from getting infections. So HIV tries to look at decreasing or weakening that cell. And most of the time it's called the white blood cells, or the one that we refer to as leukocytes. So I know today we are in an era of the coronavirus pandemic. So immediately we have the term of virus, then we need to think that it's a pathogen. A pathogen is something that is very small. We cannot see it with naked eyes. So it's a pathogen that is having the ability to replicate only inside a living cell. So let me know when you have a question, but I know I'll give you time to also question out anything. So when we look at now the word AIDS, and the first alphabet is A, that it means acquired. Acquired means it comes from something new. And that means for us to get AIDS, AIDS is acquired from HIV. So that's why it's called HIV first, then we go to AIDS. Then we have I. I means immune. Now immune is that aspect of the body ability to fight off infections and illnesses. Then lastly, we have the deficiency, that is the weakness or decrease. Defect means to decrease or to weaken. Then we have syndrome. Syndrome means a group of signs and symptoms that occur together. So most of us, sometimes we may have that group of signs and symptoms that occur together, and particularly they lead to abnormality. So there's something I want us to note. I know most of us here have heard of HIV and AIDS. And in every conversation that we have in this country, you will always realize that this comes out as a theme. this comes out as a conversation. And of very late, when you looked at the issues on COVID-19 interventions, so many people were asking, what about people living with HIV? So there was a lot of things. So AIDS is a final stage of the disease caused by infection with a type of virus called HIV. So I want us to note that not everyone having HIV has AIDS. So we need to see that those living with HIV do not have AIDS. I hope that is very clear. Now, I want to just highlight a very few modes of HIV transmission. Wengine wamesema. One of the modes of transmission is unprotected sex, unprotected sexual contact with a person living with HIV. I will really talk about this, but I want to say there's a lot of research that is going on issues on sexual acts, because sometimes and we need to put this unprotected sexual contact, sexual activity with an HIV infected person who is having a high viral load, because those who are like virally suppressed, they don't infect, their chances of infection is very minimal. And that is what is called the undetectable equals to untransmittable. That will be a topic for another day. So the next one is exposure of broken wounds to blood, especially infected blood. That is where you will tell me about accidents. And that is where you will also tell me about blood transfusion. But I want us to be very keen. When it comes to blood transfusion, nowadays, blood is screened. So we may not have issues on somebody getting HIV through blood transfusion. Injection with contaminated objects and mother to child transmission. And that last point of mother to child transmission is what I am going to take you through today. That is the most important thing I'm going to take you through today, so that all of us may learn how do we prevent our children from getting infection through the mother. And that calls it as the prevention of mother to child transmission, which is abbreviated as PMTCT. So PMTCT should always be offered as a package of fully integrated routine antenatal care interventions. In the previous sessions, when we were talking about antenatal care, you were told one of the comprehensive package is HIV profiling. So this is what happens. That is where the prevention of mother to child transmission begins. Every pregnant woman, when she attends for the first trimester, she's always tested for HIV. She's always tested. And sometimes the only thing that we really need to ask ourselves is that we don't prepare them. We don't tell them why are they tested for HIV. So that needs to form the basis of our discussions, that we need to always explain to the young women, we need to always explain to the pregnant women, we need to explain to the mothers the reason why they are supposed to be tested for HIV. That will always look towards prioritization of PMTCT interventions for the child that she's carrying in her womb. So you'll realize that routine ENC is very important because it looks at the high quality combined HIV prevention. And this prevention really includes HIV testing for women, partner and even family testing, and even plans for future conceptions. So all pregnant women, this is something that we need to understand within our societies, that all pregnant women should be tested for HIV during the NC profiling. And this should be done at the first trimester. So it means as young people, as citizens of Kenya, as patriots, if we meet a young woman who is pregnant and not going for antenatal care, then we need to give an escort. We need to give referrals. We need to always ensure that they are able to get to the nearest facility for antenatal care interventions. Now, what happens to a woman, a pregnant woman who turns HIV positive? Ideally, she is initiated on antiretroviral therapy. Now, nikisema, if you will hear for the next session during this presentation, you hear the word antenatal retroviral therapy. That is called in layman's language ARVs. So hapo staki sasa maswali about it. So that is called ARVs in a layman's language. So mothers should be counseled about the schedule for repeat HIV testing. So maybe a mother comes to the clinic today for the first antenatal care, the first trimester, she's tested for HIV. But then towards these interventions that she will be coming for the clinics, she needs to be repeatedly tested for HIV. And then even after delivery, as she will also be coming back for the child welfare clinic, then she's also supposed to be tested for HIV. So it means we need to prepare such a woman. We need to tell her the importance of HIV testing. We need to tell her a postnatal education. And most of the time, this is done within the health facilities, at the MCH, and by the nurses. So I'm trying to get very fast, but I'll get to you. I hope I'm not too fast. If I'm too fast, allow me to know.
Uko sawa.
Okay, niko sawa, sawa, sawa. So now I want to take you somewhere out of an HIV negative woman. For an HIV negative woman, as she comes for ANC clinics, then she is cancelled on routine and repeated HIV testing. The only thing is you can't do HIV testing every time you come for the clinics. Most of the time, guidelines were written. Some guidelines say after every 3 months, you check for HIV status. So often some people check after every 1 year. It also depends on your choice. But what happens is when you're negative, you can always counter check your HIV test status after 1 year or after even 6 months. So what happens to that young woman who turns HIV positive? And that is what we are going to look at in this slide that you are seeing. So I had told you, if you see any word that is written antiretroviral therapy, then it means ARVs. So for a positive pregnant woman, immediately you are tested, confirmed, you are initiated. It means they give you an ART on that day without failure. If they fail not to give you, then that is a missed opportunity which needs explanation. There are scenarios that you may not be given ART on that day. A clinician may decide to delay because of other reasons or because of other co-infections. I want to tell you this, HIV is not an emergency. You may be having strong TB and you're a woman, pregnant. The clinician, during the clinical evaluation, that is part of the antenatal care interventions that we discussed some time back. The clinician evaluates the co-infections that includes TB TB adenoiditis, meningitis, a lot of other chronic illnesses. And that means if they find these chronic illnesses, you may not be initiated on antiretroviral therapy on that day. So it means any person, normal person who is tested for HIV and becomes positive without other co-infections needs to be initiated regardless of gestation, regardless of WHO clinical stage, regardless of the CD4 cell. Now, the reason why we initiate pregnant and breastfeeding women are majorly two. One is to restore and maintain the mother's immune function. So when we were discussing about the introduction of HIV, you looked at the term immunodeficiency. You look at the term immune, and you saw at that point there is something about weakening the ability of the body to fight infections. So the reason why we give ART is now to restore the ability to fight for the infection. So that is number one. And that will be, the moment you start restoring this ability, then it means you start looking towards the general healthcare of the woman. Now, the next importance of, the next goal of initiating the pregnant or breastfeeding woman on ART is to prevent transmission of HIV in the uterus, at labor, during delivery, and even during breastfeeding. Because when you want to prevent a child from getting infection during the time the mother is at conception, the mother is expectant, then the mother needs to be put on ART. And this is why, if you're pregnant today and you go for your first trimester, then they will ensure that you get tested for HIV so that they start the interventions as early as possible. So I want you to note, to achieve the two goals, the mother must take effective ART to achieve viral load suppression. So the mother must ensure to adhere to the ARVs, to adhere to the drugs from the time they are given and moving forward, because the drugs given, they are supposed to be taken on a daily basis. So often I've said that they are supposed to be taken on a daily basis. So somebody will ask, how will the doctor know that you don't take the medication? How will the doctor know that you don't adhere to the drugs given? How will the clinician know? How will the nurse know? How will the peer educator know? How will the adherence counselor know that you don't take your medications? So there's something known as the viral load tests. And that is the biological or the laboratory investigative measure that is done to really know that such a patient is not adhering well with the medication. So it's monitored after every 3 months. So you'll realize for people living with HIV, there's a difference between the one for pregnant and breastfeeding women and the general population of people living with HIV. So any pregnant or breastfeeding woman who tests HIV is newly initiated on ART. The VL sample is collected after 3 months of initiation. So it means if today a woman gets pregnant, tested for HIV today at the first trimester, then you count the 3 months. Then the viral load should be done. After that, it should now be done 6 months until complete cessation of breastfeeding. What does that mean? That means that after every 6 months, the woman is done for a viral load test until she gives birth, she breastfeeds until the day that the child stops breastfeeding. And I will tell you that for HIV positive women, their children do not breastfeed for a longer period. There's a period of time that they are always told to stop the child from breastfeeding. Please mute. Please mute. So, for HIV positive women already on ART, yes. So you will realize today, yes, you are a woman living with HIV, but you have conceived. So now for you, your viral load should be collected immediately today when you are starting your first trimester. So for you, you are not tested today. You have been tested some time back. You are on ART. And what happens is you have conceived. You have come for the NC profile. We will not take you for HIV testing again. What we do is we now take you for a viral load collection. And then you will now be having the VL collection after every 6 months until you give birth, until that day that your child stops breastfeeding. Now, I told you that this is a laboratory investigative measure. And there's a sample of blood that is collected, and there are results that really need to be seen. So the best result to be seen for this is called LDL. And that means LDL stands for low detectable levels. So it means it's not zero, but it's low detectable level, meaning the viruses, the HIV virus is seen within your blood, but they are not able to be given a value. So any value that comes out from that sample, is it 10, 20, 50, 100, then it means it is detectable viral load. So for every person taking ARVs or ART, that viral load should not be seen within the bloodstream. So if it is seen, then it means it's a detectable viral load. Therefore, what do? We assess the potential reasons for viremia. Maybe you have been missing drugs for some time, or maybe you have stopped for some time. Some people take holidays because these drugs, you're supposed to be taking them for the whole of your life, every day on a daily basis, which is sometimes very difficult, sometimes very cumbersome. Sometimes people become tired on the way. It's like salvation. Because sometimes people, those who are saved, one day at a point they leave Christ, then they come back. Also for the ART, some people may also decide to leave and then decide to come back. So those reasons may also include intensifying adherence support. So for you to intensify this, you'll always try to identify what is the problem with the patient. And at this point, you look at it as an individualized patient because she might have a different reasons from the others. So all those, you start now trying to look at a possible solution to ensure that they suppress. And at this point now, for those with above 1,000, you do what is called enhanced adherence counseling, which are often done by psychosocial counselors or enhanced adherence counselors. Then there are also other interventions that you can also do, like direct observed therapy, where you bring the patient closer to you and then you observe the patient while taking the medication. It might not be you, or there might be somebody assigned. There might be a CHV, there might be a colleague, a family friend, or a family relative that is assigned to do that, to really observe. So after that, then you repeat a viral load after 3 months of excellent adherence. Once you are very sure that now the patient, the woman, is now stable, has adhered well, then you repeat viral load. That means you need to see an LDL state, a low detectable level. Now, if you repeat after 3 months, and then you realize it's still above 1,000, then you need to change to an effective regimen. And the effective regimen means that regimen might have failed. if today you are using some other drugs and then that drug change, then you keep on doing a repeat viral load after 3 months, then you don't see the results as LDL. It means the virus in your body has mutated to the extent that now it has weakened the efficacy of the drug itself. And that's why you have to be changed to an effective regimen, which is second line. And sometimes it goes on to an advanced regimen, which is third line, which is now discussed by technical experts. Keep on writing how you feel in the chat box, and keep on writing your questions as well. So, because we are looking at prevention of mother-to-child infections, and being that for us to really know that this young mom has really adhered well, she's unable to infect her child, then we track the viral load. Now, how do we know? So there are interventions for the HIV-exposed infant. So an HIV-exposed infant is a child that is less than 2 years of age. I want us to get this clearly. That is less than 2 years of age and is born by a mother living with HIV. So immediately the child is delivered. So that is why during the NC profiling, you realize that the mother's HIV status was being documented in the ANC booklet. So when the mother delivers, the mother does not breastfeed the child at first. The child is given an antiretroviral prophylaxis. Prophylaxis means a prevention drug. And most of the time it's a syrup. Because the mammary glands that this mother really want to use for breastfeeding may have HIV virus. HIV virus is found within the body fluids. So that is why it's given a prophylaxis. So for the first 6 weeks, the child is given a prophylaxis that is known as AZT. That is an abbreviation for zidovudine syrup. And given a combination of nevirapine for 6 weeks, and should be continued until 6 weeks after complete cessation of breastfeeding. Now, when we say cessation, it means at that point now that she is not supposed to now breastfeed. Now, infant prophylaxis can be discontinued after a minimum of 12 weeks. Hapo tumesema there is zidovudine and nevirapine given. They are combined. We are going to see in the next slides how they are given. How do they do the dosing? So you may realize there are some cases a mother may separate from the child. It means that child is not breastfeeding. Any child that is not breastfeeding should be discontinued from the prophylaxis after minimum of 12 weeks. The mother might die, so nobody is breastfeeding the child. That means, why do we give prophylaxis? What are we preventing from the child? So that's why the child might be discontinued from prophylaxis. Now, there's one very key point that we need to know is that the infant prophylaxis regimen applies to all HIV-exposed infants, irresponsible of the age when identifying HIV exposure. So if today I am 3 months old, my mother didn't give birth to me in the hospital, Then my mom goes to the hospital today. She is tested for HIV and she is positive. I am exposed to HIV. I will still be eligible for prophylaxis. And that is what that means. I will still be eligible for prophylaxis. So now, how will I know? How will I know that this child has not infected HIV? So for this, I will do what is called the HIV exposed infant interventions, follow-ups. So it means from the time the child is born up to a period of 6 weeks, I need to take a test that is known as the PCR test. It's a DNA test at 6 weeks. Immediately 6 weeks, I need to take that to confirm. What do I confirm? I confirm if the child has gotten infected with HIV. If the child gets HIV and is confirmed HIV positive, then I will no longer have that child as an HIV exposed infant. What happens is now I will start the child on antiretroviral therapy, the one we call ARVs, and their regimens for children. Sawa, antiretroviral therapy. Now, if the child is negative at 6 weeks, I continue giving the child prophylaxis. Then I will monitor the child PCR after the 6 months of birth. So this duration is counted based on the date and the month and the year of birth. So it means after 6 months, I do another PCR. Then after 12 months, I also do another one. You will only be doing the PCR test if the child is negative. If the moment the child turns positive, then it means the child will now need other interventions. That is called the pediatric interventions. It will not be now in the HIV exposed infant interventions. So at 12 months, I will also do the same. So in the previous guidelines for antiretroviral therapy for Kenya, we used to do a 9 months PCR, but currently we do a 6 months and then 12 months. And then lastly, we do 18 months confirmatory antibody tests. So 18 months, we test the antibody. We don't test the PCR. So at 18 months, if that child turns negative, that child is negative and will only contract HIV when he grows up. And that at that point, the child is done for what is called a close-up of HIV exposed infant intervention. Or you graduate the child from PMTCT interventions, and then you take the mom back to the normal HIV care, standard care package. So it means the child is completely negative. But if the child turns positive at 18 months, you start the child on antiretroviral therapy. You start the child on ARVs. And that means the child administers ARVs for the rest of his life. So I hope we are getting the right track of what we need to tell the society. And why do we need to test our women when they get to the facility, when they are pregnant? Because if the moment they get to the first trimester, they are tested for HIV, the interventions began as early as possible. And you also see why they need to have their deliveries at the health facility, so that the child can also be given prophylaxis at the point that is exposed to HIV at a very early stage. So now what you are seeing here is the regimen, various types of drugs given to any person living with HIV. So there are three categories of regimens given. The first, and they're in lines. There's what is called the first line, a second line, and the third line. So the first line regimen means your first combination of ART drugs given when you test HIV positive. So it means today you go to the facility, umedungwa, then they confirm you are HIV positive. That first drug you're given is your first line. And what you see in the slides are the first line recommended drugs by the Ministry of Health in Kenya. And what you're seeing is abbreviations. So if you see the word TDF, TDF means tenofovir. Tenofovir, it's a long name. It's called tenofovir. So then 3TC means lamivudine. Then the new drug in the HIV market is called dolutegravir. So that is TDF, 3TC, DTG, tenofovir, lamivudine, dolutegravir. So we always tell patients to know the names of these drugs. The way it is a combination drug. The way you're seeing it here, it's one drug, but has three names. It's one drug with three combinations. Then we are still under the first line drugs. We have TDF, tenofovir, 3TC, lamivudine, and efavirenz. I hope you are seeing, I'm going to tell you why I have highlighted efavirenz. That is called the EFV. Then we have ABC. ABC means abacavir. And then 3TC means lamivudine. And then DTG, dolutegravir. These names are given by the WHO. They are global names. Even if you go to the United States, you will still hear these names. Then we have ABC, 3TC, efavirenz. ABC means abacavir, 3TC means lamivudine, and EFV means efavirenz. The reason why you see 3TC in all the combinations is because it has few mutations. It has few side effects. That is why it is placed in every HIV regimen combination. The reason why I have highlighted efavirenz is because in the near future, we are not going to have this drug in the market. It is an outdated drug. It is an outdated drug. It is coming out. And right now, one of the key things that the clinicians, HIV scientists are really talking about is drug optimization to DTG. Long time DTG was a third line drug that is called an HIV advanced drug. Currently, it is used as a first line, second line, and even a third line regimen. So efavirenz is getting out of the way. So let us mark that. Long time we had other regimens that I haven't put here because currently they are not being used. Regimen like stavudine, they are not being used. A regimen like nevirapine for the adults are not being used. So they are not currently in being used to manage HIV patients. So we have the second line regimen. So if you fail first line, if your viral load keeps on being high, then you develop mutations, or you now the virus has weakened your body to the extent that now you cannot, even if you take TDF, TTC, DTG, you are not able to be you can still not get virally suppressed, then you are switched to a second line regimen. Now, if your first line was TDF, your second line swap will be AZT. That means
Hello.
zidovudine.
Hello, Joshua.
Yes.
The members are complaining about the names.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, yes, yes. Yes, yes.
I hope you'll share the slides.
I will share the slides to everyone, all the members. By the way, let me tell you, these names are the way they are. Don't mind, don't mind, don't mind. I just want you to get it right. Now, if you are in TDF, that is tenofovir, these names are scientifically proven by WHO. So that is why you hear the names that way. So if you are in tenofovir at first line, you'll be changed to zidovudine at second line. And then one thing you need to know, tenofovir is one drug taken once a day. Zidovudine is taken twice a day. So it means there's a drug burden. Then lamivudine will always remain because I told you it has less side effects. Then DTG, I told you, can be used as a first line, a second line, and a third line. Then we also have another drug that is introduced as atazanavir. Atazanavir. So atazanavir is used as a second line regimen. It is never used as a first line. Okay? So you will see there's a regimen addition. Then we also have a drug. Then we also have a drug that is given as lopinavir. Lopinavir. Lopinavir can be used as a first line, but only for children. I think I'm clear of that. Lopinavir can be used as a first line, but only for children. Hapo sasa madaktari wameingia. Wase wanasikia the names of ARVs. So mkisikianga, KEMSA has not supplied ARVs. Mjue tu hizi ndio mtu nasikia. Hizi unaona hapa. Ndio we need to get to work on. So I will share with you the slides. Don't be worried. I will share the slides. So this here is the slide for regimens for adult. And I wanted to show you this because so that we know which regimen should we give to pregnant and breastfeeding mothers. And currently, the first line regimen is given to TDF, 3DC, and DTG. That's the first line regimen recommended. So it means today, if somebody is tested today, you will be given tenofovir, lamivudine, dolutegravir. But if the weight is less than 35, then she will be on abacavir, lamivudine, dolutegravir. Any questions? Now, I told you that there's something about the hay prophylaxis. Nevirapine, what you are seeing there is nevirapine, how they are given doses at birth weight. You see, when they weigh below 2,000 grams, then they are given a 2 milligram dose, OD. OD means given once directly. Once directly. So there's a syringe. When you look at those the doses, there's a syringe that is told, there's a syringe that has the labeling for the milligrams already. Then when you come to now, sorry for that. I don't know what happened. Sorry for that. Sorry, just a minute. Let me resolve that. So then what you're seeing here is now so what you're seeing here, I see some people raising their hands. I'll give you time. So what you're seeing here is the dosing chart. For that, I had some calls, so I had to pick. But I'm soon finishing. For the hay prophylaxis, but I'll produce more of advanced chart doses so that you may be able to see them in full details. So I will request because this is the last presentation, the last slide. I will request that you give me some 5 minutes as you ask the questions. Then Katile, you can write them down. Then I'll come back and answer them. So I'm leaving for some 5 minutes. There's some emergency outside. Then I'll come back. Once I come back, I'll tell you. Just ask your questions. Katile can write them down, and then I'll answer them.
Hello everyone. I think for those who have questions, they can unmute and ask the question, then I'll write them down. Azieni. Anyone who has a question?
Good evening, everyone. I'm Loving. I have a question. So what happens to a mom, also a first-time mom, that didn't know that she had HIV and AIDS? Then hakuenda clinic for akiwa in the first trimester, and in between akona chronic diseases. What will happen to her? As in maybe akona cancer. Okay, anajua akona cancer, but hajui kama maybe akona HIV and AIDS, and then time alipata ball hakuwa anajua that akona ball until maybe ball kafika 5 months ndo akajua hey niko na ball, and then maybe akaogopa kwenda clinic and something of the kind. What happens to her? Ata infect the baby ama what will happen to her and the baby?
Thank you. Thank you, Eziani Linda. Another person was a question. You can just unmute or use the chat box. That was Lavidge, I guess. And kindly use English because you have some members who don't understand Kiswahili.
I have a question.
Yes.
Okay, sorry.
Okay. So is it true that when a mother is pregnant and she has HIV, when she gives birth, that she's only allowed to breastfeed for like 6 months and then that's it? Like she's not allowed to breastfeed more than that 6 months, or it's just a myth?
Okay, thank you, Gikuru, for that question. Another person who has a question. Do you have another question? Those in Facebook, do you have another question? Okay, Joshua, are you back? We have 2 questions.
I have another one.
Yes.
When during pregnancy and now you are going to deliver your baby and you have been taking your medication well and your viral load is showing non-detectable, and now maybe you are having excessive bleeding during the delivery, will the child be infected at that particular moment? Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Gikuru, for that question. I see a question in the chat box. Any other person who has a question and wants to unmute? Okay, I think we don't have another question in Facebook. I can't see any other question. So I don't know if Joshua is back to answer the questions. So if Joshua is not back, because we can't keep waiting and we are just doing, I'll divide you into breakout rooms, and then I'll give you just like a question each group to discuss as we wait for 5 minutes as Joshua gets back, because we'll not be having our next speaker because the topics are different and we have agreed that we don't mix up the topics. So for when you get in breakout room 1, I think everyone understands about breakout rooms. So when you get to, we have 4 breakout rooms. So the first question you will discuss, group 1, you will discuss this question. As a woman who has HIV and you want to have child, would you consider, like, will you take the medicine for like ARVs, or will you not take? And then you'll give the reasons why you should take or why you should not take. You are a mother, you have HIV, and you want to have children. You want to give birth to children. That is, should you take HIV medicine, or should you not take? That is breakout room 1. Breakout room 2, you'll discuss on some of the HIV medicine that you should take as a pregnant woman. Some of the HIV medicines that you take as a pregnant woman. I think Joshua has gone through that. And then breakout room 3, you'll discuss if you are pregnant and you are already taking HIV medicine. Should you continue taking the medicine, or should you not continue taking the medicine? And then you'll give us your reasons why you should continue taking and why you should not continue taking. So that is breakout room 3. And the last breakout room, you will discuss why is it possible to breastfeed your child after you give birth and you are HIV positive, or why should you be breastfeed and why should you not breastfeed? So it's a discussion. So breakout room 1, you discuss why you should take HIV medicine when you want to give birth to children. The second breakout room, you discuss which HIV medicine should you take. The third one, you will discuss on, is it possible, like, why should you, if you're already taking HIV medicine, should you switch and take others, or should you not switch? And the last one, why you should breastfeed or not breastfeed your child if you're HIV positive. So you will just give reasons. We'll have breakout rooms for 10 minutes until 6:50, 8 minutes, 6:50, and then we'll get back and we'll have the questions answered. So when you get to the breakout room, you can unmute yourself, you can use your video, and then you discuss the question. So I'm assigning you the breakout rooms now.
Hello, Katili. I am back.
We are in
Katili?
breakout rooms. Yes, we are in breakout rooms.
Yes.
Yeah.
What are we discussing in breakdown rooms? I don't know.
Which room is this one?
I don't know which room am I.
Because I'm seeing, no, the two in these have not joined the breakout rooms.
Yes.
So you can just join any room. Let me try
And
to.
what is the discussion in the other room?
Each group has a question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So each group is generating their questions.
They have given them the question, so they will give out the answers.
Okay, so.
Yeah. So you can just join any group.
Okay. And what about Grandy and Virginia?
They have not joined any group.
Can you assign them to a group?
I've already assigned, but they have not joined.
Okay. Virginia
Yeah.
yako group?
I don't know. I assigned them automatically.
Oh, I'm seeing Brenda is asking for help. Let me join that breakout room.
Room? everyone is I think everyone is back. So Joshua, while we had the group discussion, so we'll have the teams, each team to present for 2 minutes, and then I'll give you the question that the participants asked. So we'll start with room 1. Someone from room 1 to give their suggestion on the question that I gave.
From room 1, we had the question of if the pregnant woman would consider taking the HIV medication and why. So our answer was yes, the woman should continue taking the medication. And our reasons were ARV is a lifetime drug, so at no particular time they should stop. And then to restore and maintain the mother's immune function. The other point was to try to avoid infecting the unborn baby, improving the CD4 count, thus reducing the risk of getting the opportunistic conditions. The other one was the pregnancy and HIV, they both lower the immune system. Hence, the medication will help in boosting the immunity of the pregnant woman. And the risk for maternal and infant mortality will be reduced if the mother continues taking the medication. And if you stop the medication, the virus mutates and the drug becomes resistant to your regime. Yeah, that was our contribution from the group 1.
Well, thank you so much, Gikuru, and thank you so much, group 1. So I'm so pleased by the answer. So we'll go to room 2. Someone from group 2 to unmute. Someone from room 2. Okay, room 3, someone from room 3. Anyone who was in room 3 and you discussed your question? Okay, room 4. Room 4. Someone from room 4 to unmute and give their suggestions. Miriam. Someone from room 4.
From room 4, our question was if a pregnant mom should breastfeed or not. If mother should breastfeed her baby or not. And according to the discussion, I think a mother should not breastfeed her infant because the HIV virus is transmitted through body fluids, which include breast milk, and mother-to-child transmission can occur during breastfeeding. So it's not advisable to breastfeed.
Thank you, Ariette from room 4. Room 2 and room 3, do you have someone who can give their suggestions?
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
This is Beryl from group 4.
Yes.
Just to add on what we've discussed. Huh?
Yes.
Yeah, a pregnant mom who is newly diagnosed should breastfeed the child. Huh? And this is because they'll be started on ART, and also there'll be monitoring of VN every 3 months. More so 3 months when newly diagnosed, then after that, routine year 6. Then apart from that, there's prophylaxis that is given to the child, which is nevirapine, zidovudin. And alongside that, within 6 weeks, it is changed to CTX and nevirapine. And you can go with the nevirapine and CTX until the mother's until the child is 1 year, where we advise. Because Kenya, we don't, sometimes there's a shortage of nevirapine. So we advise them to at least to stop breastfeeding at 1 year. But for those who can't stop breastfeeding, they'll continue with nevirapine until the child stop breastfeeding. So it is advisable for all the children those who are born to HIV mothers to be breastfed. Even in cases of high viral load, we advise, but under monitoring. I think that is what I can say.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Beryl. I really love the discussion on your opinion. I really wanted to hear from the other groups about this. Ama, you didn't discuss. It's also fine if you didn't discuss. It's also fine. Or as well, you can write in the chat box. And I would like to pick from there. The first thing, let us see the importance of breastfeeding for an infant without looking at that, the aspect of HIV. All children must undergo exclusive breastfeeding. That is a nutritional component that a child needs. Do you know that the woman's milk has a lot of nutritional growth nutrients that are needed by an infant at an early age? That is why you cannot give birth to a child today and then you tell me you want to give this child another milk apart from the mother's milk. So without us trying to look at the aspect that this child should not be breastfed because the mother is HIV positive, I will say no. That breast milk you are seeing there, it has other nutrients that the child needs. But what happens is there is a lot of interventions that are being done to ensure that the child does not get infections. That is why those who were born in the 90s, when there was emergence of HIV, contracted HIV from mother to child. But those who are born today will not contract HIV because there are HIV exposed interventions. So let us not be cheated. Let us encourage our mothers to breastfeed their children when they are still at an early age. But let us take precautions. One, we have been told about the HAY intervention follow-up. And then the next thing is, let us prepare the HIV positive women so that when a child is 9 months, a child has begun a mixed feeding, because we have exclusive breastfeeding, which means the child only takes milk of the mother, no liquid, no anything. That milk is very nutritious. It has several vitamins and mineral supplements that the child requires at that point. So immediately the child starts having other mixed feeding, and this one nutritionist will tell you, then you can start preparing that young woman, that mother, the child from having from breastfeeding too much, to start minimizing the child from breastfeeding. That means when the child reaches 1 year, then the child needs to stop breastfeeding. So that is the difference. A child born from an HIV negative parent might breastfeed breastfeed, even until 4 years, even until 5 years. But for an HIV exposed infant, it is advisable to stop breastfeeding totally at 1 year. Because at that point, the risk of getting infection is very high. So mixed feeding during this period is associated with significant higher risk of mother to child transmissions. So we need to, at 1 year, the time now the child has started having mixed feeding, then we need to start educating the mother to start training the child to stop breastfeeding. So it means today, if you get an HIV positive woman who has given birth today, please advise her to breastfeed the child. But if the child reaches 9 months and the child has started practicing mixed feeding, please advise the woman to start also restricting the child from breastfeeding, so that when the child reaches 1 year, the child now leaves breastfeeding completely. You cannot just leave the child today that it's 1 year, then you stop the child from breastfeeding today. You need to start preparing the child psychologically so that there is that connection the time the child breastfeed. The moment the child starts realizing that the mother has decided to start denying breastfeed, then the child will start adapting to the new norm. That means between 9 months and 1 year, the child needs to breastfeed, but not the way he used to do before the 6 months. So it means after 1 year, that child should not breastfeed. I hope that is very clear. So we need to encourage and support all the mothers to breastfeed, to do exclusive breastfeeding for the first 6 months. Exclusive breastfeeding means the child is not taking any other thing. It's only taking breast milk. And then they need to continue also breastfeeding with appropriate complementary feeding. After 6 months, children are now advised they can take porridge. They can still breastfeed with appropriate complementary feeding. But then when it reaches that 1 year now, we need to stick to that. So during the time of mixed breastfeeding, now it needs to also look at other varieties of modes of feeding for the child. I think I'm very clear about that. So if you see, for now, the children that are born in this era, we need to see no new pediatric infection, because the whole thing lies within the mother. So for us to end the new HIV epidemic among the children, the mother must undergo the PMTCT interventions as early as the first trimester. Any questions? I know there are some questions and I'm waiting for them.
Hello. Before
Yes,
that,
Katrina.
let me read the answers for those who are in Facebook.
Okay.
I had asked them a question. So the answers are: HIV positive mother should not breastfeed as HIV is transmitted through body fluids. And then Mario said, yes, they should take the HIV medication to prevent them from being exposed to the virus through breastfeeding. It is just the same as you are answering. So those are the comments from Facebook. So I'll give you the question they had asked in Zoom. So one person asked, what happened to a first-time mom, a first-time pregnant woman who isn't aware that she is HIV positive and doesn't go to clinic because she realized she was pregnant like 5 months. And due to that, And also she has other underlying condition, maybe cancer, other sicknesses. So what will this mother do? Will she go for those HIV pills or will she not go for them?
That's the only question you have?
Another question I have.
Yes.
Is it true that when someone is pregnant and she has HIV, she cannot breastfeed up to 6 months? Like, is it a myth or is it true? And then the other question is, if your viral load is not detectable and you are taking medication well, and maybe when you are giving birth, you excessively bleed, will
Katila, I've lost you. Katile? Hello, can you hear me? Hello? Can anyone hear me?
We can hear
Yes.
you.
So I lost
Maybe
Katile.
I
So
can-
let me.
Maybe I can say that last question because I'm the one who asked.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, I was asking if at all you're pregnant and you've been taking your medication well, and now your viral load is non-detectable, and now it's time for giving birth, and now you experience excessive bleeding during the giving birth process. Will your baby get the virus? Yeah, that was the question.
Okay, okay.
Sure.
Now, I want to start with the question one. What happens to a first-time pregnant? I told you. Irene, I hope you don't want to talk. Let me just mute you now. So, a first-time pregnant woman, 5 months pregnant, that woman needs to go to the facility. Even 1 week pregnant, you need to be in the facility for your first trimester, because there are other services that you need other than HIV services. So imagine this question is saying she has other chronic illnesses. So it means this woman may be at risk of more complications other than HIV. It means the child she's carrying at her home may be at risk of other infections other than HIV, which is very dangerous. So this woman needs to go to clinic. If you get such, escort them to the clinic. So I want to get to that question. If she's tested for HIV, that woman will be placed on medication on that same day. If she's not initiated on ART, that is a missed opportunity which needs explanation from the healthcare worker. So what happens is the woman should, once you test for HIV, then you are supposed to be on antiretroviral therapy. But because of other clinical evaluations, you may not be initiated on that same day. They might tend to look at these clinical interventions. They might tend to look at those clinical illnesses. Then is when you will be initiated on ART. Remember, ART is not an emergency. If the clinician looks at it very well and then finds there are issues that needs for us to delay the initiation of ART, then we can delay. but those are well articulated under the standard operation procedures for antiretroviral therapy. Which one of them includes the antiretroviral guidelines? They are very specific on how to do that. Now, another question I had is about when someone is pregnant with HIV, is it true that he needs to breastfeed? Yes, that person needs to breastfeed. It's only that now we don't breastfeed for the longer period of time, like 2 years or 3 years. We have a timeline, that is 1 year. Why do we have this 1 year? Because the moment the child starts having mixed feeding, then the risk of getting infection is at high rate. The child is more exposed rather than at the first 6 months. So that is why you start stopping the child, because HIV is found within the body fluids. And then at 1 year, you'll realize most of the nutrients that the child needs, he or she has been able to acquire most of them. Now, somebody is asking, yes, the viral load is LDL, is not seen. And then then there's excessive bleeding. Will the child get infected with the virus? I will say no. Why? Because during labor, during delivery, when immediately the child comes out, the child is given a prophylaxis. Prophylaxis are preventable antiretroviral therapies. They are preventable. Like today, if you had sex with someone you don't know the status, and then tomorrow you get to a health facility, you will be given PEP. And then when we test you, you are still negative. That is what happens to the prophylaxis. So it means the chances of the child getting infection will be minimal, unless the child was not given prophylaxis, of which I know they are always given prophylaxis. They are. No nurse will never do that, because in the NC booklet, it is indicated there. And nowadays, what they do, as the woman prepare to deliver, one of the key things they're given is the HIV prophylaxis. So that immediately the child is born, immediately the child comes out of the womb, that is the first thing that goes into the mouth of the child. So it means chances are very minimal. Any more questions? Any more clarifications?
There is one question in the chat box.
Yes. Oh, Joshua, can an adult who is sucking his wife's breast get infected with HIV? I really want to learn this. Wait, let me ask you a simple question. We are all young people. Have you ever sucked a woman's breasts? Just I don't want you to answer it. You may not want to answer it because this session is being done live on Zoom and Facebook. But one thing I want to ask you today, you know, when you suck somebody's breast, maybe you may not be taking in a body fluid, okay? And because that breast, the way it is, you are not taking in the body fluid. You know why the child is taking the breast is because there's a fluid that goes into the child's mouth, and that is the breast milk. But for you, a normal adult, you are not going to get that breast milk. Ama kuna wengine wanapatanga breast milk. So it means for HIV, there must be a medium of transmission. That is one thing you need to know. That is why people say accidents may be a mode of transmission for HIV, because the mode of transmission is the blood. There's a fluid, that is the blood. The reason why people say we contract it from unprotected sex, their exchange of the sperm and the semen, their exchange of the vaginal discharge. So in this case, is there an exchange of a fluid? Remember, HIV virus is only contained on fluids. And there are some fluids that the content is very minimal. For example, saliva. Saliva has very minimal content of HIV. That is why people say, for one to contract HIV through deep kissing, he needs to take 5 liters of an infected HIV saliva, unless the person has wounds in the mouth. Because now there's another medium, there's blood there. So it means there is another medium, there's blood there. So for this, no. Any more questions?
Hello, we have a question from Facebook from
Yes,
Felix
yes.
Agola.
Yeah.
He's asking what elevates the risk of contracting HIV by a child born to a positive mother from the age of 1 year when the complementary feeds are introduced?
Now, thank you very much, Felix, for that question. One thing, wamama ukuambia, the moment you tell a woman, you now need to start training your child from not just breastfeeding, but to a mixed feeding. And then you start also training the child from breastfeeding. They tend to tell you, daktari, mimi nafanya hivyo. Then at 1 year, 1 month, she's still breastfeeding the child. The child is at risk. And you know what happens? When you will be doing an antibody test, you will get now this child has contracted HIV. And then that is the moment you will see them crying, because now the child will be initiated on ARVs. The child will now be initiated on antiretroviral therapy. At that point now, the mother will now tell you that she didn't stop the child from breastfeeding. So it means at 1 year, during the complementary feeding, we need to stop the child from breastfeeding. So it means we need to tell them, take these words very seriously. Some of these women, they don't. They are told, don't breastfeed the child. After 1 year, they continue. They just continue. And then to make it worse, as she continues, she has high viral load. You know, the moment she has a high viral load, it means our viruses are exposed. They are exposed and it's easily passable. So it means it all lies with the mother. Any more questions? Because you know now we want to see no new pediatric HIV infection. And that is the bottom line we need to have from our discussions here. We want to see 1.5 million Kenyans living with HIV giving birth to children without HIV in this country. It's very possible today towards the zero new infection. Ask, because you are a change maker to your society. Watu wametosheka. I can see something from the chat box. Yes, Gikuru.
There's this thing that I heard that, for example, if a child has been infected with HIV,
yes,
maybe from during birth, that
yeah.
a child cannot be tested if he or she has contacted HIV if they have not consented. Is it true? Like, you have to wait for the child to be mature enough so that you can test the child.
Now, thank you for that. Thank you for that question. I want to tell you that, you know, what we are doing today is a very, very broad syllabus. And today we were looking at prevention of mother to child infection. Now, if you have two contradicting arguments. Number one, a child has been tested HIV at birth. Now, you know, for when you go for testing for children, the parental consent, and that is called ethics. The current ethics is you don't test a child, but you are allowed to test a 15-year-old child. Why? Because a 15-year-old, at times, it's now becoming a mature minor. So for the HIV testing, you're allowed without the parental consent. But somebody below the age of 15, you will need a parental consent. You will need a parental consent. So for the hay, you test them in the presence of the mother. So it means the mother will automatically give you the consent for the exposed infant. Yes, Irene. Irene Dolo. Irene.
Hello?
Yes.
Yeah. A breastfeeding mother who is infected with HIV and AIDS is expected to breastfeed up to 6 months. Now that the mother who has a lot of breast milk, if she stops at that point, which is required, can the milk remaining there affect the woman? And how can she control?
You have said it's not up to 6 months. That is number one, Irene.
Okay.
It means at 6 months, the mother will start introducing the child into other methods of feeding. So it means she starts training the child on other methods of feeding, in as much as she will still be continuing the breastfeeding. But now, the mother will not be breastfeeding exclusively like she used to do before. So it means when the mother was breastfeeding before 6 months, the child was only taking breast milk. So after 6 months, huyo mtoto anakunywa uji. So it means the mother will start reducing on if the mother used to breastfeed even 8 times in a day, for instance. So it means at that point, the mother can even say, let me breastfeed the child 3 times in a day. And you know, the more the mother breastfeeds, the more that quantity of breast milk reduces. That is something we must also learn. It reaches a point where, yes, there are people who might have so many breast milk, and at times you just find it's just flowing. But it is very advisable. When it reaches 1 year, the child will not breastfeed. You'll realize there are some women, even before 1 year, she doesn't have milk. Okay? There are those who will have. There are those who will have even after the child has grown to 2 years, they can still come back and breastfeed. But then it's very advisable for the HIV pregnant, HIV women not to breastfeed past 1 year. I know they do breastfeed, but advise them so that we look forward to a free, no new HIV infections. The life of the child lies within them.
Okay, thank you. Understood.
Yes. I see somebody is asking on the chat box. I got a friend in South Africa breastfeeding her babies for 2+ years. The kids are negative and her viral load is always undetectable. Yes, that is true. There are people who can do that. But I want to tell you that that is That is called trial and error. That is trial and error. So sometimes there are people who can do that. They can breastfeed even past 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, because their viral load is always undetectable. Once the moment there is a viral load undetectable, just know that the risk of contracting HIV to the other person is also minimal. Okay, so that is why today we talk about undetectable equals to untransmittable. The moment you are living with HIV and your partner is not living with HIV, you can have sexual intercourse without protection, and then you don't infect the other because you are virally suppressed. Your viral load is durably suppressed. And that is why this young lady is breastfeeding these children for over 2+ years. Because if you look at the history, you will find out for the last 5 years before you gave birth to these children, she has maintained viral load suppression. So it means its chances of contracting the virus to these kids are very minimal. But that is not advisable. Because if you start encouraging this, then people will start coming out with their own guidelines. And people will start saying, but I'm viral suppressed. I've maintained my viral load for the last 3 years. But not thinking that maintaining viral load doesn't mean that you don't have the virus. The virus is within you. And now what you need to do is to practice and follow the guidelines as mandated by the Ministry of Health, which is being told by the healthcare worker himself. So let us just be very keen. For the children, we need to always ensure that they are stopped from breastfeeding at the right time. The only thing is we start training them as early as possible. Don't wait for the child to reach 1 year, then you stop the child immediately. No. When the child is 9 months, 7 months, 8 months, start training the child, start reducing the number of breastfeeding duration you take per day. If you used to breastfeed the child for 8 times in a day, start reducing that 8 times, equate 4 times. If it was 7 times, start reducing, equate 3, so that when the child reaches 1 year, then now you can stop it immediately, because already the child has started adopting to other means of feeding. Thank you. Any more questions? Thank you. Any more questions? I hope there are no more questions.
I can see a question.
You can see a question, okay.
Yeah.
Because we need to, do you have any session or we need to end the sessions?
No, we'll just end the session.
Okay. Now, before we end the session, when we were joining in, I asked some people to tell me how do they feel today. So I want to still ask the same question. How do you feel now after this session? Do you feel bored? Do you feel tired? Do you feel exhausted? Do you still feel excited? I want to see that from your chat box. Others, you can as well mute and tell us how do you feel, so that we see. For those on Facebook, also just write, how do you feel now after this session? How do you feel? Let's do that in the next 5 to 10 minutes, then we log out. But for the presentations, I will share with you the presentation slides, and then I will as well I will share the presentation slides and also share with you some other materials that you can always use for prevention of mother to child infection, to create awareness at various capacities, at various geographical locations that you are. So, for this, we didn't go into statistics. We must know that the country is looking towards this, a very progressive agenda, especially for sustainable development goals, and a vision 2030. One of the visions for that 2030 is eliminating of mother-to-child transmission. So for those who want to really learn about it, you can always look at the conversation surrounding this. You can always follow NASCOP website, follow various organization websites to see how is the progress of this, and how can you also play a very vital role towards eliminating mother-to-child transmissions. So these are global response, and it's also a call to actions. And I think you will see. The only challenge that we have had of late is about the short supply of antiretroviral therapy. And you know that one, the moment you see there's a shortage of ARVs, then there's also an looming shortage of prophylaxis. And I will tell you for a matter of fact, sometime back we saw Septrin syrup for the HIV exposed infants who are also in shortage, and still is shortage. So we can always know how do we hate the government. And you know, that is very diplomatic, but then we can always advocate for the children so that we focus towards eliminating of mother-to-child transmission. So how do you feel today? Katile.
Yes.
I don't know what's wrong with my Zoom. Would you mind to stop the Facebook live?
Why?
When it reaches, I don't know what's the problem with my Zoom.
It's okay. It will close itself.
Okay.
Yeah. So in the chat box, Eziani is saying she's feeling more informed. Someone is saying is feeling extremely excited. I've learned a lot. Thank you, facilitator. Beryl is saying she's feeling satisfied. Thank you. Lavin is saying I feel enlightened. I've learned and unlearned so much. Yeah, those are the comments. Maybe you can use a thumbs up for those who are feeling good. You can use a thumbs up. Yes, thank you, Winnie. Thank you, it was educative. At least I learned something. Thank you. Yeah, I can see thumbs up. Thank you so much, Amina. Thank you so much, Virginia. Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much, everyone. Ezina, Letitia. I'm so grateful for today's session, and it was a very wonderful presentation for our speaker, and I really learned a lot. Thank you, Mercy. Thank you, Harriet. Thank you, Josh. It was so educative, and I'm sure we can create awareness on HIV and why HIV mothers should take their medicine, and also those who are breastfeeding. I know it's a wide topic, but at least by the end of the session, you can't lack something that you can go and tell someone who you know she or he has HIV and they are married or they're not married. So thank you so much, Joshua. I'm really humbled for that session. Giant, thank you. Akini, thank you too, Mom. I'm so humbled for the session. Back to you, Joshua.
Thank you, Katile.
Yes.
You can hear me? I don't know, but I'm just seeing a black screen from my side. Okay, thank you for that. Thank you for also being part of this. To all our participants who have joined us during this session from the Facebook Live, we don't take your indulgence for granted. We really appreciate you joining us during these sessions. We really appreciate you being part of this training. we really appreciate the time. We really appreciate the commitment for today's discussion. I'm looking forward to more questions when we send a feedback form. And then we are looking at also track how will you do these sessions more for the next year's training and also for the future trainings. So I also want to say thank you, a big thank you to the participants via Zoom too for that participatory discussion, and looking forward for other discussions. Allow me wish you a blessed night. For those who are cooking, cook supper utusambazie. For those who are also sleeping, have a blessed night and a fruitful weekend.
So if your group is maybe if your group is preparing a session on the presentation for the last day, you can think about adding this topic on HIV in your group. So thank you all and have a good evening. Let's meet on Thursday.
Good night, everybody.
Thank you.